same show. We look a little different though. We are using a brand new production service called Melon App. We really want to get a good idea from the fans on how this looks. So please reach out to us on Facebook. Please reach out to us on Instagram, Twitter, website, everything. Let us know what's going on tonight, so we can get this thing going. But thank you, everyone. Brandon Bumgarner's over there to my right with the nice little 4-Star Sports Show logo in his little box. Ray McKetta is at the bottom of the screen. Raymond, how you doing tonight from the East Coast,
I'm pretty
man?
well, Wes. Yourself?
Oh man, can't complain, man. Can't complain. Brandon, how about yourself, buddy?
I'm doing all right, man. It's a good day. Had decent weather today. It was a little chilly, but here in Memphis. But other than that, can't complain.
Awesome. So a quick question for you, Brandon. We've been hearing some interesting news off the hill in Knoxville. So what's going on right now in Knoxville, Brandon?
Well, your guess is as good as mine at this point. But I hear they're giving McDonald's bags full of money to recruits, and their head coach got fired. But he's fighting it with attorneys and a bunch of other stuff. You got players transferring left and right. I'm not a Tennessee fan. I don't feel sorry for them, but I know there's fans out there that watch the show. I do feel sorry for our fans that watch the show. I invest a lot in the University of Memphis, and I know they invest a lot into their home university, the University of Tennessee. But yeah, like, I honestly don't know what's going on up there. Their AD retired. Their former head coach AD, Philip Fulmer. Jeremy Pruitt's out. Eric Gray's left. He announced he's in the transfer portal today. And McDonald's is giving them bags to put cash in to give to their recruits.
Yeah, I really don't know what's going on the hill. It's a very fluid situation, I guess you would say, Ray.
It is a fluid situation, and you want to make sure that all of the investigations done thoroughly. You want to make sure it's a fair judgment, and also Tennessee has to make sure that moving forward they have the right coach to help support the program, whether it be financially, more on the board, but their recruiting needs to be. If there's going to be any sanctions out of this, then they have to adapt to that.
Correct. Very good point. Go ahead, Brandon.
Philip Fulmer had a funny quote in their press conference the other day. They put out their letter about Jeremy Pruitt and why he was fired and everything like that, basically admitting to these sanctions being real. And then Fulmer was asked the question of, well, has anything gotten better under this head coach's tenure? Philip Fulmer, the smart man that he is, says recruiting. Basically admitting all guilt. And I don't think he meant to be like that. I think he meant like as a serious answer. But you're being investigated because of your recruiting violations. I don't know what the hell is going on up there. I'm sorry, but there's a lot going on. And I saw somebody compare them to what's going on with Memphis basketball. Those two situations are comparable to an extent, but this is a lot more. There's a lot more going on in this. Memphis' situation was Wiseman and Wiseman only. This is multiple players. Your head coach is involved, as was Penny in the Wiseman situation. But football's a much bigger sport than basketball, and football's your moneymaker. That's where all your fans come in. You sell season tickets. If you can fill up a 110,000 seat stadium in Neyland Stadium, then that's where your money's going, And being in the SEC, you got a big spotlight on you being in a big conference like that. I don't care if you're Vanderbilt, If the same thing happened at Vanderbilt, ESPN would be reporting on it too because they're an SEC school, any Power 5 school to be exact. But the SEC is the epitome of college athletics as far as football goes. And Tennessee's a name, man, and that's why they're getting looked at. So,
Yeah, most definitely. And Brandon, another thing that I find very interesting in this whole situation is this. Um, as we know, Kevin Steele was brought in as a defensive analyst, but I went back and looked. 3 weeks ago, they put a hiring freeze at the university. We've
yep,
talked about this. We've already discussed this on the show once, but I just
yeah,
want to bring it back up. Um, so you don't bring in an offensive player, but yet you bring in Kevin Steele, which, as we alluded to on the show this past weekend, Philip Fulmer wanted him prior to hiring Jeremy
Jeremy
Pruitt.
Pruitt. And when that happened, like that's basically your doormat placement to replace your head coach. But hey, I heard the same thing on a radio show I was listening to yesterday. Tennessee has, I believe, former Governor Bill Haslam, Peyton Manning, and a bunch of other big name alumni on this coaching search. So, and if you're looking for a coach, you don't have to go much farther than Peyton Manning.
No,
I'm not saying they're hiring him as the coach. Peyton Manning's going to know who to hire as the coach. He's he's got good character. He knows good qualities in coaches. He was around the game his whole life. His dad, his brother. He's about to be in the Hall of Fame. So I think that brings a little light to the Tennessee situation. As far as the NCAA goes, there's no telling what happens to them. I mean, you could go look at LSU basketball and Kansas basketball. Nothing's happened to them yet. They basically gave hey, NCAA, what's up? Come at us. Look at it, and nothing's happened to them. But Tennessee seems to be bowing down to the NCAA in this situation, which is ironic to me because most schools have been fighting it, But yeah, I don't know what's going on up there, man. Much less do I pay attention that much, but not to take a shot at them, but I've never seen a situation like this before.
I completely agree. And Ray, I want to get to you in just 1 second. I just want to make this point real quick. When you look at Tennessee, of course, we know the hiring fiasco that happened with Greg Schiano. Of course, you get Jeremy Pruitt. And I don't think Jeremy Pruitt was a bad hire. I'm not saying that at all. But this is a crucial hire for the University of Tennessee. You go back and look at their history, their best season in 2007. They went 10-5, 10-4. Butch Jones is the most successful record-wise coach that Tennessee has had. And
Yep.
I'm not taking anything from Butch Jones. But if you go back and look, he's the most successful coach that's been there since now Jeremy Pruitt has been fired. But my point is this. You've got to make a hire, but I can see Tennessee doing this, and I don't know that they necessarily quote unquote need to, but don't bring in
Yeah.
Yeah, if I was a natural, I'd be excited too. And that causes for opportunity, and Tennessee would have to take a look at a coach that, number one, knows what they're going to get into, because they have to make sure that they have to assume that they have sanctions coming. Although they have not been announced yet by either the university or the NCAA. The NCAA and everything has to finish their investigation, but they have to assume that the sanctions are going to be there, and they have to possibly, if they're going to lose any scholarship scholarships over the next, like, say, 2-3 years, you need to have a coach that can plan for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember back in the University of Miami when Butch Jones was the coach there, he had to deal with the same thing. And he often had some walk-ons enter the football program from the track team to help out. I remember Santonio Moss as a prime example of that. No,
It's like this for me. The guy has no coaching experience. The only experience he has is Monday Night Football for one season. And it's just, I don't know. That wanting to hire a guy that's never coached football is a little weird to me. He's been around football his whole life. I get that. There's a difference between being a football player and a football coach. I don't care who you are. Because look at a guy like Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders quit playing football, started coaching, and now he's a head coach at Jackson State University. I think that is a prime example of what you want out of a former player to be a coach. But the Jeremy Whitten thing is just wild because, like, dude's got zero coaching experience. If you think you're going to come into the NCAA, unless you're putting a head coach around you left and right, if you think you're going to come into the NCAA and not be a football coach or D1 or the SEC, no, it ain't happening, brother. That dog ain't hunting. You ain't going to win any games. I've seen their fans on Twitter today saying they're going to go 0-12. I don't think they're going to go 0-12. They scheduled too many easy non-conference opponents. But that was a shot at them. You're not going to win games if you don't have a coach that hasn't ever coached or can't coach, and don't mean to bring Memphis basketball back into this, but Penny's in the same situation. He'd only coached high school basketball and middle school basketball and AAU before he came to Memphis. He didn't have like Juwan Howard had experience in the NBA with Eric Spoelstra on the Heat staff, Penny's still learning as he's going. Jason Witten will struggle if they did give him that job. Now, I don't think they're going to go that route. I think they're going to go more the Hugh Freeze route. That's what I predict. I predict him to be the next head coach at Tennessee. But, the coach that they hired 3 weeks ago during a hiring freeze, which is just wild, like you brought up, that might be the route that they go. Yeah. Well, Ray brought up a good thing, and I'm kind of backtracking on my Hugh Freeze statement now. Hugh Freeze is known. He got Ole Miss in trouble. I don't know if Tennessee's going to go that route because they're about to get in trouble. And I don't know if they're going to want to go that route as far as hiring him and making that play. You know, I heard on radio the other day, Freeze wanted the Memphis job before Silverfield got announced the Memphis coach. He wanted the job badly, and Laird Veach kind of put out a statement saying basically we're not hiring Hugh Freeze. It was we want somebody